Members, this bill spends over $46 million more than we did in the current biennium. As was said earlier, it's a huge increase in government spending. It's full of waste, intended to grow government, make the bureaucracy better at the expense of our citizens and businesses. Madam Speaker, wondering if Representative Wagenius would yield.
She will. Representative Drazkowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Wagenius, the question was asked. One of the areas of wasteful spending in the bill is something I've never heard about before. Government engaged and endeavored to create bee habitat, which where I come from is a completely different term, as is viewshed and some other things that I hear in this place. But wondering, why are we attempting to create an environment in an area that would grow and multiply bees and place it right next to people? We're putting it on trails, next to trails and parks and other places where people are. It doesn't seem to make sense to me. If you buy into the idea we need to create bee habitat, at least common sense would suggest you don't put it next to people. So, Madam Speaker and Representative Wagenius, if you'd yield, thank you.
Representative Wagenius.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. I can't understand your question yet. Are you, first of all, questioning whether we should have bee habitat or not? Is that your first question?
Representative Drazkowski.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Representative Wagenius, if the representative would yield again.
She will. Representative Drazkowski.
For me it is, but the question that I have for you is, why do we, if we're going to have government involved in developing bee habitat, and that certainly is a question, but that's not my question to you. My question is, why, if we're going to do it, why are we going to put it right next to where people are?
Representative Wagenius.
Well, let's answer first questions first. It says pollinator habitat, and there are lots of kinds of pollinators. There are honeybees, there are bees that are native, there are moths, there are small flies that are pollinators, there are butterflies that are pollinators. We have lots of kind of pollinators in Minnesota, and that's what produces our food. Fundamentally, that's what produces our food. So we need pollinators. The issue that was brought to our committee was that because we have monoculture crops, we do not have enough habitat for pollinators, not enough food for them. Just don't have enough food. And if you're going to have food, it needs to start at the beginning of the growing season, May, June, July, all the way through the end of the growing season. So, this is a more complex issue than I think you're wanting to hear. But so we're doing pollinators to give them a place for food because a lot of their habitat has been taken. That's number one. Number two, our honeybee producers, and I actually have a honeybee producer on our farm. He is from Representative McNamer's district, and we've had bees kept on our farm for as long as I can remember, certainly even before we had the land many, many years ago. All these bees go to California, and they are the bees that pollinate the almond crops. So they are good in Minnesota, and they're where they summer and winter in the almond crops. And I suspect you've heard about colony collapse and the fact that our bees are not healthy and many of them are dying off. Certainly the beekeeper that keeps bees on our farm has had huge losses of bees, and he is one of those folks who keeps his bees in the summer in Minnesota and takes them to California. So one of the reasons that we wanted to have the pollinators, they don't bite you, one of the pollinators next to trails is so that Minnesotans could see what we are doing and to educate them about why pollinators are important. Does that begin to answer your question?